regard to Alejandro Kirk, to a guy like Ernie Clement, who just doesn't seem to miss pitches, puts the ball in play. Like, all of this lineup has the ability to do some interesting things. They've got 2 home runs out of their 9-hole hitter in Andres Jimenez in this series that have been really key moments in the series. So it's a much deeper lineup than the one he saw in Detroit. But Logan being on his full rest, I think, gives him the opportunity to be his best self in a moment the Seattle Mariners could really use it.
The Mariners lineup exactly the same as in the last game. There was a big change before the last game, moving Julio Rodriguez up to the leadoff spot, moving Randy Arozarena down to number 5. You also have Dom Canzone starting in right field yet again instead of Victor Robles. What do you make of that?
It's purely, I think, kind of the modern day thought of with the handedness. Like, Dom Canzone's the left-handed bat to use it against the right-handed pitcher in Trey Savage, and I think that's where most of this comes down to, because it's a matter of what you want. Do you want to take the loss on the offensive side with the right-on-right matchup with Victor Robles, who's not been swinging the bat all that great himself either, or give your offense a chance and maybe take a little bit of hit on the defensive side by having Dom Canzone's bat in the lineup and the high-end potential he has with the ability to hit the ball over the wall as a home run threat, too. It's purely a matter of choice what you prefer to like better. Most managers, I think, in the game nowadays would go for the left-on-right matchup in that spot, but it is a choice that they've made over the last few games to go that way, and they've stuck with the same lineup for the last 2 games as well, with Rio Rivas in the lineup as well. With Canzone playing the outfield, it's put Jorge Polanco at DH, which has put Leo Rivas in the lineup as a better defensive second baseman. So you're getting your defensive improvement in the infield, which is an interesting choice that they're making as well.
At the top of the Blue Jays lineup, George Springer. He was injured in the last game when he was hit by the pitch by Brian Wu. X-rays were negative. Felt good yesterday in warm-ups and workouts, and he's back in their lineups leading off tonight.
Yeah, he is. And I mean, as their manager, John Schneider, said, he's got seam marks on his knee, and I don't doubt that for a second after taking a 95.6 mile-an-hour sinker off of his kneecap. I mean, I can't remember where I heard it, but I think the exit velocity of the ball off of his kneecap was over 50 miles an hour. I mean, it was a very solid, direct contact that he got on that pitch the other night. But, you know, assuming it wasn't broken, and it wasn't when they did the scans on it, you expected him to find a way to gut himself to be in this lineup tonight, and not surprised at all that any bit close to 100%, he's going to be out there leading this group off, because he's just been so dynamic at the top of that order for this team.
As John Schneider said, at this time of year, you play with all the scrapes and the bruises, and you're basically playing on adrenaline. It doesn't matter whether you're tired or not. You have enough adrenaline to get through these games because there is so much on the line. The Mariners, in their history, have won 10 playoff games in the season before. That was back in 1995. They won 10, but they have never won 11, and that's what they would do tonight if they clinch a spot in the World Series. David Hanna. David, I laugh every year during spring training. The ongoing joke, this is the year. Well, this actually might be the year. They can get one more win today and finally get back to the World Series for the first time.
I have told Aaron that every year for 17 years, and he's laughed at me, but this year he said, you might be right.
Yes.
So let's hope so. Let's talk more about the Blue Jays lineup. Let's check in with Lauren and Chris.
Well, Lauren, I was a little bit surprised. I think a lot of people were that George Springer right back in there. But then again, you got to have your best horse, probably your best hitter other than Vlad Guerrero. I guess you got to go with him. I mean, you can't leave him on the sidelines. It's too late now.
Especially when the X-rays were coming back negative for the Blue Jays and for Springer, their leadoff hitter. If he's able to go, this is not a game you want to miss. He has lots of post-game, post-season experience as well. He currently has a tie for 4th most postseason home runs in baseball history with 22. Obviously, the Mariners have felt a couple of those. And then obviously you can see Vlad Guerrero Jr. there in the 3-hole. He's been doing so well in this postseason, Chris. I mean, to the point that the Mariners intentionally walked him twice in Game 5.
Yeah, and there's a couple hits that he had in the last few games were just laser beams. It seemed like the ball didn't even go more than maybe 30 or 40 feet above the ground. Hit the wall. Very fortunate it didn't go out there. I was wondering if we would see at some point, especially with them going back home, maybe moving Alejandro Kirk to the 3 spot, putting Vlad in the 4 spot, just to get one more guy on base for Vlad to try to knock in. But it seems like John Schneider didn't tinker with that lineup very much. The guy who scares me the most still, though, is for some reason, it shouldn't be, is Andres Jimenez down in that 9 spot. He's just been a terror. That bottom of their lineup, especially in Game 4, just really opened it up compared to the bottom of the Mariners roster. And that's where I was surprised that the Mariners didn't make a little bit more moves either.
And Chris, you had told me before the show just about how many men the Blue Jays were getting on base compared to the Mariners. Do you want to read that stat?
Oh, the runners in scoring position was kind of off the chart. I mean, it was a little bit of a surprise. Games basically game 5, Mariners 1 for 5 in runners in scoring position, Blue Jays 2 for 11. These aren't numbers that are going to blow you away, but I'm going to go backwards. Game 5, game 4, game 3. This is the Jays, 2 for 11, 3 for 10, 4 for 16. Mariners 1 for 5, 1 for 3, 1 for 5. The opportunities just continue to be there a lot more for the Jays than they have for the M's. Of course, games 3 and 4, the Jays scored plenty of runs. The Mariners struggled, but it's really been, that's kind of been the story all postseason. Are the M's going to be able to have what they did in game 2, where they went 3 for 9 and basically took advantage of every chance, every good chance that there was when guys were in scoring position to get them across the dish and get more runs on the board.
And you can obviously see that in the scoreboard too. The way that the Mariners have scored are off of home runs, whereas the Jays have scored in a multitude of different ways. Let's take a look again at the Mariners lineup. You obviously heard Curtis and Aaron mention what the Mariners lineup was going to look in this game, but we have Julio Rodriguez leading off once again. I spoke to him before game 5 and he was saying, just look, I got asked if I was ready to do this, and I said yes. He had only led off in a game. The last time was the end of July, and then before that it was primarily in April. Obviously, they're moving Randy Arozarena a little bit further down in the lineup. But one thing that you and I agree, Chris, is that this Mariners lineup up and down needs to have more contributions so that, yes, the home run ball is working, but it doesn't just have to be the home run ball.
Yeah, and there's been a little bit of heat on Julio because he's had quite a few offers in this postseason. He's also had a few great moments, too. The bottom line is he's also drawing a walk here, getting hit by a pitch here. Reyna had the huge hit by a pitch the other night, too. So guys are still finding a way, even when they've been, 0 for 13, what they were, that 1 through 5 or 1 through 4 in the lineup a couple nights ago when they had the bad game on offense. They still found a few ways to get on base. They just couldn't get into scoring position, couldn't get to third with less than 2 out and try to get on that sac fly. I'm a little surprised to see Canzone back in the lineup in that 8 spot. I thought maybe Luke Raleigh makes an appearance. He's a left-handed bat, could very well come in. Does he have the range that Canzone has with the glove in right field? Not sure. Does he have the arm that Canzone has? Yeah, probably a little bit better. So maybe it's a trade-off. Maybe we see some lineup jostling when the Blue Jays pitching staff changes and the Mariners start to play that chess game a little bit. Dan Wilson plays that chess game on the lineup card a little bit later in the game.
And that's what we saw, David and Hannah, in game 5 when they brought Victor Robles in. In the top of the 9th, but for now we'll send it back to you two.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys are making me nervous. Let's get this game going. Oh, it's going to be a big night.
It is going to be big. Less than 2 hours for the big game. Of course, we'll have more coverage for you in Fox 13 Extra Innings. After this quick break, we'll have manager Dan Wilson. We'll be right back. All right, welcome into Fox 13's Extra Innings, and this is a live look right now, Rogers Center in Toronto, as we get ready for the big game less than 2 hours away. Hopefully the Mariners will clinch, the ticket to the World Series. David, I'm really getting nervous. Every time I talk about this, I just get myself amped up.
Them's played well in Toronto, though, so that's good news. Mariners manager Dan Wilson took to the podium earlier, and we want to let you listen to all of it. So take a listen.
Hey, Dan, given all that's happened in this postseason, how much stock, if any, do you put in the idea of one team holding momentum over the other, or is every game just a discrete event?
I think each game is discrete. I think emotion, momentum, you call it what you want, does play a big role in the postseason for sure. But each game, presents its own challenges, its own differences, I think in terms of that, you treat each game differently, and I think it's kind of played out that way in this series. But obviously, emotion and momentum is definitely a factor.
We'll go on the right, Curtis.
Dan, Leo didn't get back with you guys until the start of September, and he's had some big moments for you. The defensive play the other day, the hit in Game 5, obviously. What is it about him after so long in the minors that's allowed him to kind of jump into this moment, not be shy of it, and be able to contribute for you guys on this stage?
Yeah, I think the thing for Leo is that, he's very secure with his identity as a player. We talk a lot about identity, and Leo is so comfortable with who he is, and a great defensive player. We've seen that from him, but a guy who just puts up a really difficult at bat and a tough at bat, and he's a tough out, and I think we've seen that play out over the playoffs as well. And when he came back, I think that's what he continued to show us, and in his opportunities to play, and as he's gotten opportunities here in the postseason, I think the story has been the same. And that's what you want from all our guys. Tough at bats, grind them out. Be a guy that can find your way on base, and then when you're in the field, be defensive, and make the plays. And we've seen Leo do all of that. So it's been nice to have him in the lineup.
We'll go in the front on your left, Dan.
Dan, how did Brian come out of the relief outing the other day, and what do you kind of envision his role will be over the rest of this series?
Yeah, I think he came out pretty well. Yesterday, I think, as he mentioned, just kind of general soreness, and which is good. And today, we'll get a chance to get out there again and play some catch and see how he feels. And I think as you look at games 6 and 7, if there is a 7, game 6 certainly tonight is. We're going to find out who's available and who's ready to go and who might be, in the bullpen at times. So we'll be finding that out here as we get guys in on the field and get loose for tonight.
Go in the middle on the left, Jordan.
Dan, what did you see from Logan in his last time out, and what do you need to see early in this outing to kind of know he's feeling good?
Yeah, I think last time out was a little bit of uncharted waters for him, just because of the relief outing for us in the Detroit series. So tonight, you kind of look for him to be a little bit more settled and back into his regular routine of sorts. They were able to put a lot of pitches on him early. He got into some early trouble, in that first inning, and they were able to get to him a little bit. So I think just kind of getting off the blocks in a good way, I think, is going to be key for Logan tonight, and that's kind of what we'll be watching.
Stay in the left and the back, Tyler.
When Logan is at his best, what makes him so hard to hit?
It's we talk about, ironically, it's the split, it's his secondaries and how they work with his fastball, and when he can locate that fastball, where he wants to put that, and then you throw in the sweeper or slider and the split. He's a tough matchup, and when he is on and he's able to locate those secondaries, it makes his fastball better, and when he can locate that fastball, it makes his secondaries better, and they kind of play off of each other. So that's what makes Logan so difficult, and a lot of swing and miss there. I think that the split is a big reason why he can throw that thing at the bottom and break it out of the zone where there's just not a lot of contact to be made. So if that split is on, that's when he's at his best.
Go on the far left, Rick.
Danny, in that ball game, the biggest outs of that game was Cal Raleigh's 2-3 double play. Number one, how do you make that play, and did you have a flashback? The only other time it's been done in postseason play was you and John Olerud back in 2000.
Yeah, I had no recollection of that, honestly, which is crazy. But, I think that's just a heads-up play, and I think, what we've seen from Cal behind the plate all season long has been that. But when you get that play out in front of the plate, you really want to pounce on it. You don't want that thing to roll foul because it's an easy out to step on the plate and be able to get the double play at first base. So I thought that was just a great heads-up play by Cal and made a nice play, and it got us out of a pretty big jam.
Go to Ryan on the left.
Catchers throughout the organization. I just was wondering your thoughts on the passing of Jesus Montero and your thoughts on him.
Yeah, obviously thoughts and prayers are with the family, and it's obviously a sad moment. You always hate to hear that, and especially someone so young. And so just thoughts and prayers are with he and his family.
We'll go in the middle, back.
We were talking about momentum. Are you seeing any parallels to when you guys came in here from Game 1 off of the other biggest game in postseason history for your team, after the 15-inning game, then coming in here after the game you guys just had? Are you feeling any parallels to like the way you guys are feeling?
I think as we've talked about a little bit earlier, each game is so different. I think, yes, we are coming off of an emotional game the other night, but, again, with the attitude that we have that there's more work to be done, I think we come in here, a little bit differently as well. So, again, each game presents its own challenges, and I think our guys are focused and ready to go on what's in front of us tonight.
Go to the second row in the middle.
The Mariners fans traveled well last weekend. They were here cheering on the team. What's your message to them on the cusp of history, maybe?
Yeah, the fans have been the faithful. They've supported us all along, and I think the idea again that we just have to keep our minds focused on what we have in front of us, but we're grateful for the support that they've given us all season long, and you can't do it without them, and we're hoping to bring this home.
Mariners manager Dan Wilson there got a very important and high-pressure job. This is a really good time, though, David, to remind people of the Fox One local app, or Fox One app, I should say, because that's where, if you don't have it on your TV, you can go to Fox One, download it. You can get the game right there. I just downloaded it. Lovely.
You can get it for 7 days for free. So download the Fox One app. Just go to your app store. You can watch the game. You have 7 days free, and you're going to love the app. There's all kind of stuff on there, so definitely use that. We've heard from everybody, but we haven't heard yet from fans. So let's go out to Shira Matsuzawa. She's outside T-Mobile Park, where people are waiting in line to get ready to go inside to the watch party. Shira?
David, they are pumped, they are ready, they are feeling good about tonight's game. And one of those fans, I want to introduce you right now. His name is Greg. Hi, how are you doing? Hi. It's your turn. Hi. Now, Greg tells me he's feeling confident, right? How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. Kirby on the mound tonight, Game 6. And you know what I love about baseball? I make all these new friends, and friends become family. Tonight. So, yeah, I just love baseball. It's been on our family for years and years. And such a rare opportunity. But I want you to know, Seattle fans are not fair weather. We'd be here. If it was pouring rain, we'd be here if we're losing. We love the Mariners.
Yes, rain or shine, right?
Right.
Now, what would it mean to you for the Mariners to go to the World Series? We're only one game away.
That's right, yeah. Well, kind of a dream come true. It's almost surreal for me and so many others. It'd just be fantastic. We just get to see something we've been hoping for so long, and see these players get to achieve their dreams too together with them. It'd be awesome.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. And I also want to introduce you to another Go Mariners! Look at this. But look at this, because I want to show you their shirts here. They've got some his and her shirts here. Talk to me about your shirts here.
We're just trying to channel our Cal Raleigh, I guess. So, yeah, we're excited, and just thought it'd be a fun thing to do.
How are you feeling going into tonight's game? You guys have been lined up here for about 20, 30 minutes now. What's going through your mind?
Well, she's superstitious, so she doesn't really want to say anything. But, we've been Seattleites our whole life, so it's time to come true right now. So, yeah.
Well, here we go, right? Let's pull through. Yes. Go Mariners. Can I get a chant from everyone? Let's go Mariners.
Let's go Mariners.
Yeah, here we go. Let's go Mariners. We're still warming up. We're getting for the watch game coming up, the watch party. But I'm going to send it over to Jennifer Dowling right now, because Jennifer, you've got more fans over there as well, right?
Hi, Shira. Yeah, there's a lot of fun going on over here at Tom's Watch Bar in the Climate Pledge area. You heard a Texas cry there. There's a Houston Texans takeover going on at Tom's right now. But the Mariners fans are starting to come in to watch that game at 5 o'clock, and I'm joined by some East Siders here. We've got Steven, we've got Connor, we've got Natalie, we've got Matt ×2. All these guys from the East Side coming down to the Queen Anne area in order to enjoy the game today. So let's talk to Steven first. Steven, tell me about why you love the Mariners and why you're excited about this game.
Oh man, I'm stoked. The grit, the resiliency, the patience that this team has shown this season has been incredible, and so I'm stoked to see this finally come to an end and move to the World Series the first time.
I know, it's so exciting. And do you have any lucky charms that you use or anything lucky you do for the game?
Oh man, I got my lucky socks. I got my my City Connect socks. Yeah, that's my lucky charm.
Those are some sweet socks. Let's get over to Connor here. Connor, tell me about why you're excited for tonight.
Man, I'm so excited for tonight. This fan base has been starved for this for so long. And finally, for the first time, we got a chance to win a World Series berth. I think it's going to happen. We got Gilbert on the mound. We got Cal Raleigh. I feel really good about it.
All right, tell me about your lucky thing that you're doing to help them win.
My lucky thing, I haven't washed this jersey in 4 weeks, and I've been wearing it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, we're back here at the bar. Last time we were here was for ALDS Game 5. So I'm liking that. I'm liking here with the same people. I think it's going to work out for us.
All right, that shirt, maybe by the end of the season, hopefully will crawl away. Hopefully you don't wash it for another week or so because the World Series,
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, Natalie, tell me about your excitement for tonight. Why are you excited about this Game 6?
I'm super excied for Game 6 because obviously we get to go to the World Series if we win tonight, and obviously the Mariners haven't been yet, so we deserve to be there, so super excited.
Great, and here's Matt. Matt actually went to Game 5 against the Tigers and the ALDS. Tell me about that game.
Oh my goodness, I stood up so much for that game. Our legs were tired. We really need to start serving beer beyond the 7th inning. We were all starving for a win, and when Humpy won the foot race, that got us the energy and that got us the win. But it was great.
Hopefully something like that happens tonight, but without all the stress, right? We want a win, easy win, right?
Yeah,
win. All right. So lots of excited fans out here at Tom's Watch Bar. Back to you in the studio.
Need some more Mariners fans to fill in the crowd there, Jen. Thank you very much. All right, coming up next, right here on Extra Innings, we're going to hear from the voice of the Mariners, Rick Rizz. We'll have that for you right after a quick break.
The countdown is on. This is a live shot of Rogers Center in Toronto as the Mariners get ready to take on the Blue Jays. What a game it's going to be for sure.
Yeah, they'll start filing in here shortly. Game in about an hour and a half. Welcome back to Mariners Extra Innings right here on Fox 13. As the Mariners look to leave Toronto with an American League pennant, hopefully as soon as tonight, the Kraken got things started last night for the M's in Toronto. They took on the Maple Leafs and showed up to the arena decked out in Mariners gear.
Yeah, love it. They ended up getting a 4-3 win in overtime for their third win of the year. Head coach Lane Lambert talked postgame about his team's support for the Mariners during their deep playoff run.
Josh Naylor supports us too. He was wearing our jersey after they won, in the locker room. It's about our hometown, and it's about our fans and our city. And I'll say it again, our city is a great sports town, and we have great fans in every sport, and we're supporting them just as they would support us.
Yeah, that is so true. It's really cool to see that the Kraken players wore the actual jerseys of the Mariners. I just think that that's really amazing.
Yeah, and they got the win. Let's bring in some excitement, pizzazz into the show, and who better to do that than Rick Rizz? Aaron Levine caught up with him.
Well, Rick, here we are again. Chance for the World Series. How nervous are you right now?
I'll be honest with you. I got goosebumps right now. What's at stake? The Mariners have never gotten this far. One win away from getting to the World Series for them and for you out there. That's the most important thing, is to get everybody the World Series. But first things first, as Cal and everybody else on this ball club said, get the job done. It's not finished yet. They can finish it tonight, so that's exciting with one more win to get to the World Series.
You've caught up with some of the players after such an emotional win a couple of days ago. How do they come off of that one, reset and refocus for the task at hand today?
It's cliche, but they take it one game at a time. It's been amazing how they've gotten here, all the different heroes we've had along the way, including the regular season when things weren't going well. The Mariners finally won a game in Atlanta, then won 10 games in a row and 17 out of 18. Then you get to the postseason, and Cal's historic year, of course, 60 home runs on the year. Polanco becoming a folk hero during the course of the postseason, winning the 15-inning marathon with a walk-off single, and everybody just chipping in. So Gino, hitting the 2 home runs a couple of days ago, the grand salami to win it in the bottom of the 8th inning. Cal hit a home run in the bottom of the 8th inning to tie the thing. And you go on and on and on. This is what these guys do. They're ready for the moment, and they're ready for this moment to make dreams come true tonight here in Toronto to get the Mariners and you to the postseason, to the World Series.
You mentioned the grand salami the other night, and your call was fantastic, also harkening back to Dave Niehaus. But when you're in a situation like that in the booth, and you get the Polanco in the 15th inning RBI to win the game, or you get the Gino grand slam the other night, what's going through your mind? Are you just reacting and just basically going back on your 50 years of history in this industry?
Yeah, just like anything else, you just react to what you're seeing on the field. The AL battle in Seattle is over, 15-inning marathon, and Polanco got that base hit to win it. You just react to the emotion of the players, to the emotion of the crowd. To happen at home was incredible in the bottom of the 15th inning. So you just let it happen and scream what comes through your mind. I sat next to the best announcer in the game of baseball for 25 years, Dave Niehaus. I learned a lot from him, and he's in the Hall of Fame for a reason. He was one of the greatest ever. So it's going to be a lot of fun, no matter what I yell. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope it happens tonight.
I hope it happens also. I was talking to somebody before the game, and they told me that this is the closest knit clubhouse that they have been around here in Seattle in a very long time, if ever. I mean, all the way back to those great teams, 1995 and 2001 as well. Do you feel a similar way?
Oh, no doubt about it. All these guys came up together. Scott Hunter and Jerry DeFoto and Justin Hollander, Andy McKay did an amazing job drafting these guys one after another. 2018, Logan Gilbert first round out of Stetson. 2019, George Kirby. 2020, Emerson Hancock. 2021, Bryce Miller in the 4th round. Brian Wu in the 6th round. And Cole Young and the other guys that have come along, creating this core, then adding great guys, to the mix, adding Naylor, adding Suarez. Cal Raleigh in the 3rd round back in 2018, who should be the American League MVP in my mind. They're very, very close in because a lot of them came up through the organization together. They got to the postseason 3 years ago, came so close the last 2 years. They don't want that taste in their mouth anymore, and they know what they need to do to win. And they're together as a team, and it shows when they take the field. And Dan Wilson has done an amazing job at his coaching staff to get the Mariners this far.
Last question, how important is it for them to get it done today and not go to a Game 7 tomorrow?
Oh, it's important to get it done today. Get it over with. Let's go home and rest up, celebrate tonight, and get ready to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I'm hoping, and I think the ball club can get it done tonight here in Toronto, just like they did 3 years ago when they won the wild card series. They won both games here, 4-0 in Game 1. They were down 8-1 in Game 2, came back and won that 10-9, and the fans that were here, Mariner fans that were here, celebrated, right here behind the dugout with the Mariners that day. So hopefully it happens tonight.
Yeah, let's make it a trend.
Yes, let's
Celebrating
do it, Aaron.
a series win here in Toronto. Rick, thanks so much for your time, and
You're welcome,
we'll hopefully
buddy.
talk to you soon before a World Series game.
You're welcome. Sounds good. Thank you, buddy.
All right, so Aaron Levine and Rick Rizz, the voice of the Mariners, such a legend. Let's bring in Chris and Lauren now into this conversation. So, guys, I remember seeing Rick Rizz, the last social media posts I saw. It was when he was calling the play that Gino Suarez did, that grand slam, and it was so energetic, and he just makes things so exciting.
Exactly. He brings so much energy to this Mariners team. And my favorite thing, I've mentioned this on a couple of our shows, he has a pregame ritual where he gets a bag of Cheetos, and those are his lucky Cheetos. And so right now, I can imagine.
Stick with it.
At the Rogers Center, there's at least one bag of Cheetos for Rick Rizz.
Chester Cheetos for sure. We were talking off camera beforehand. Rizz, who's going for the Blue Jays tonight. Boy, you talk about a guy just thrust into everything, but he has answered the call.
Yeah, let's talk about two more different paths in baseball. We have Rick, who's been in baseball for what, 5 decades?
Yes.
And then Rizz, who is 22 years old, starting this game for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's only making his 6th big game start, 6th MLB start. He's a rookie, obviously. And so let's look at his stats in this Game 2 against the Mariners, because that's the last time we saw him on the bump, and it was not good for the Toronto Blue Jays. He had 4 hits, 5 earned runs, including that Julio Rodriguez homer, and he only had 4 strikeouts. A huge difference from his performance in the ALDS, where he had 11 Ks against the Yankees.
You know what? Sometimes when young players like this, ignorance is bliss. Maybe this is the best time to have a kid come up late because he just did. Hey, you're new. You don't know any better. You haven't had all season to have your bumps and bruises so far. He's really only had one other bad outing this season. That was at Kansas City back on September 21st. And really looking at his stats, that's the only true road game he had. He did have a start at Tampa, if you want to call that a road game. You're playing in a single-A stadium down there in front of we have more people in this building today on a Sunday than there are at those games. But you got to see if the Mariners can jump on him again and try to take advantage of what he was not able to do last time, which was get the key outs early in the game. You saw Julio jump on a ball, knock it out. It was 3-0 early, and it was like, oh, boy, this may be a wave of things to come. But the Mariners have always hit good in Toronto. They've always hit, even their bad players in Mariner history have hit good in Toronto. Dustin Ackley hit grand slams in Toronto. If that doesn't tell you something there, so did Justin Smoke, which is why Justin Smoke ended up going there and playing. So let's see if that can carry over. You got to wonder if also Dan Wilson wants a knockout punch tonight. Aaron asked Rick Rizz, how important is it to get the win tonight? You know the best way to not lose a Game 7? Don't get to a Game 7.
Exactly. And for more on the decision to start a 22-year-old in a win or go home, well, win or stay home game for Toronto, let's hear from Blue Jays manager John Schneider, who spoke earlier today.
John, a lot of players talking about making this seem like a regular game, but what is your message? It's obviously not a regular game.
Sure it is, right? I mean, I think we're really good at doing the next thing, we all know what's at stake, but I think you have to go play your game. I think the minute you start getting out of what has gotten you here, you get into trouble. So that's the mindset I want them to have. I think that's what we've done all year, and you gotta lean into it, man. It's an important game for sure. These guys are really good at getting prepared every day, so there's no other way to go about it. But they understand the magnitude of it.
Go to the second row on your left.
Good to see you again, Maury from the Rizz and Mocha show. So I wanted to find out from you. I one can only imagine late at night you're doom scrolling on your phone, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Do you ever see the comments that people leave questioning the decisions you make, saying that they disagree or whatever? Do you ever see those comments, agree with what they're saying? What are your thoughts on what they have to say?
For one, I don't have TikTok.
I find that hard to believe.
No. Two, I don't have Twitter. And three, could care less what people think about me other than in my clubhouse.
Fair.
And we'll go to the second row on the left.
Hey, John. George is back in the lineup. You said yesterday that all you needed to hear from him was that he was good to go. So what was that conversation like?
He was in good spirits yesterday. I think just getting some reassurance with the CT scan coming back. It was going to take a whole lot more, I think, to keep him out of the lineup. You know, so he was feeling better yesterday, feeling better today. Was checking in with him via text this morning. He basically told me to shut up. Did the same thing when he got in today. So he'll be ready to go. You know, he's a little bit sore. He's got some good seam marks on his knee from the sinker there, but I trust when George says he's good. He's played through a lot in his career, so he's good to go.
Standing in the back left, John.
Thanks, John. Relatively short amount of time for Pete Walker to work with Trey, but what have you observed in their relationship and the ability to make quick adjustments, as in the case today?
It's interesting, you know, because this guy got drafted last year, and we've asked a whole lot of him this year, and he's been an open book since he's gotten here. There's always things, I think, to kind of, I always joke with Pete, it's like, finishing school when you get up here. There's always little things that he can help with or that other veteran pitchers can help with. So Trey's been really, really pretty quick on learning some things since he's been here. Whether that's with his delivery, whether that's with, varying his times to the plate, how to read a game plan, how to dissect it, how to make adjustments. They've been pretty seamless. Trey, I can't speak enough about Trey and how seamless he's kind of transitioned to this level. But I think Pete is a really good voice for him, and I think the pitchers are a really good voice for him, and they've been working really well.
Again, that was Blue Jays manager John Schneider talking about their 22-year-old starter for today's game, Trey Savage.
And you know what? He's been criticized a lot during this season, his managerial moves, his pitching staff moves. I don't think you win the American League East, though. And it was a tiebreaker with the Yankees, but I don't think you win the AL East unless you're pushing the right buttons. But people can turn on John Schneider very quick. Even his own fan base is quickly we'll call them Maple Leafs baseball, which is a term that gets thrown around in Toronto quite a bit. So we'll see if he can push one more right button tonight and stay alive, or if the M's can throw that knockout punch. That's what we're all hoping.
And as we've heard a couple times in the show so far, the Mariners have had a lot of postseason success at the Rogers Center. They are 4-0 in the postseason in these last 3 years. Let's make it 5. Hannah, David, how are you thinking?
Ooh, I'm just, every minute goes by, I'm getting nervous. I just feel my heart just racing really fast. Hey, this is a great time to remind everyone, if you want to watch it at home, download the Fox One app. It is great. You get 7 days for free. Great way to watch the game. That's happening about an hour and 15 minutes from now.
Don't worry, we have Cal Raleigh.
Yes.
And coming up, he hit the game tying home run the other night. Aaron Levine and Curtis Crabtree are going to talk about him when we go back live to Toronto when Fox 13 Extra Innings returns. right, welcome back. We are counting down right here on Fox 13 Extra Innings. Mariners, big game tonight. They could close it all out and be headed to the World Series. So everybody on pins and needles tonight, waiting to see what's going to happen. But two calm voices in all of this, our own Aaron Levine and Curtis Crabtree.
I like that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Curtis, this moment is made for Cal Raleigh. I really believe it. I know the theme throughout this entire postseason has been 1 through 9. Anybody in the lineup can get it done, and we've seen that from Jorge Polanco in clutch moments, Gino Suarez the other night with the grand slam in the 8th inning. When you're talking about your MVP caliber players, I just go back to what happened in the NLCS the other night. Game 4, Shohei Ohtani, also MVP caliber, hits 3 home runs, also pitches 6 innings. We're not expecting Cal Raleigh to pitch tonight. He is going to be catching for Logan Gilbert, but he's the guy you have to think is going to get it done tonight in this moment.
In this building in 2022, his home runs in the wild card round obviously were a big part of getting it through this series as well. If you think to the game against Tampa this year in the regular season where he homered off Griffin Jacks, the home run to send them to the playoffs in 22, the homers to get to 60 and to ultimately clinch the division win in the final week of the season against Colorado, the shot the other night to tie up the game in Game 5. Like, he has a penchant for doing things in big moments for this team. He could be 0 for 10, and then you still do not want him up if you're an opposing team in the 8th inning with a chance to do something in a game that's close, because more often than not, he finds a way to bear down some way and deliver. He's got this clutch factor to him that's just really impressive as a part of everything else he's done with offensively for this team this season. And yeah, he's one of the biggest reasons that they're here, not just because of his on-field play this season, but because of the mindset and kind of the focus that he's kind of led this team on over the last couple of years. And before re-signing this offseason, all of that's kind of encapsulated to this point in time.
We'll show you his stats during the postseason, but in general, he has the highest on-base plus slugging percentage of any catcher in Major League Baseball playoff history at .976. The other night, he became the 8th catcher in playoff history with a game-tying home run in the 8th inning or later, and the first since Jorge Posada in 2009. These are the types of clutch moments that I'm talking about that he is so good at manufacturing for this team.
Yeah, and then he still has the defensive side of the game where he's able to turn that double play on the chopper from Ernie Clement 6 inches in front of the plate, pounce on it to keep it in fair territory, and turn that double play that was in a really key spot to get Bryce Miller out of that jam in the 4th inning of Game 5. There's a reason, he's an all-around player. That's what the argument is for him being the MVP this season. Not only is it his offensive numbers, it's that ability behind the plate, calling a game, going out to the mound and settling down his pitchers when there's been key moments to do that. All of that goes into him being one of the best players in baseball this season, arguably the best, probably the best, all things considered, and still delivering once the calendar is turned to October as well.
And that's one reason I lament the fact that MVP voting ends at the end of the regular season.
It's a regular season award.
I understand that, but I think it should also take you should also take that into consideration when you're talking about what they do in the postseason. I know there's a World Series and a playoff MVP also, but big picture, though, this team was in a very similar situation in the ALDS on the road in Detroit with a chance to close that series out in Game 4 without having to go to a deciding Game 5, albeit that Game 5 was back in Seattle. We talked to Rick Rizz a minute ago about the importance of getting it done today. What do you think this team learned, if anything, from that situation in Detroit where they had a lead early on and then it kind of all went to pieces?
Just that if they play their game and stay within themselves, I think that they know they're good enough on any given day to beat anybody. That game in Detroit got away from them, obviously. It was a game where they were up early and had a chance to end it there and not have to come home and play the Game 5. It didn't go out that way for them. But I think if they end up in a similar circumstance in this series, they've been up in almost every game of the series except for Game 1 when George Springer had that leadoff home run. Other than that, they've played ahead and they've lost several of those games too. I think they know that they need to stay locked in to try to hold any Toronto Raleigh at bay, because they know that offense can produce, and so they're going to need to grind out every single moment to try to get across the finish line here, because that team does not want to go quietly either.
We've heard the word resilience out of manager Dan Wilson so many times throughout this season. This team is resilient. They continue to fight, and while he said earlier today that every game is its own entity, it doesn't matter how far down they are. We've seen many times this season this team fight back. One thing to keep an eye on, though, is that teams that have a lead after the 7th inning during this Major League Baseball postseason, now 32-1. That one was the win the other night by the Mariners. But then it's also showing you how rare it has become during this playoffs period for a team to come back late in the game.
There's a reason high leverage arms are high leverage arms. You know, they go late in games because they're the trusted arms to shut down games. The Mariners have those in Spire, Bizzardo, Munoz, and Brash. It's why we've said in this series that the Toronto bullpen might be the soft spot where you can get them. But the problem is they haven't really been able to get Toronto starters out of the games early enough, except for Game 2 and with Trey Savage, who's starting tonight. So if they can find a way to do that, I think they're in a really, really good spot, because I just don't think Toronto's bullpen has enough arms to shut down the Mariners lineup for that many innings if they're in that spot. So that's going to be a key thing to watch tonight. It's one, can Logan give them that length so that they can get to their leverage arms without needing somebody to jump in the middle of it? And can you get to put that, have them go back to Sir Anthony Dominguez, Louis Varland, Jeff Hoffman's barely pitched in this series, and then the guy I'm forgetting his name, who was the lefty who came in the other night, who gave up the start of that rally in the 8th, but Brendan Little. Those are the arms they're going to have to turn to behind you Savage at some point today. Chris Bassett hasn't pitched much in the series. Those are the guys that they'd have to turn to if it gets to that point.
Let's just make it simple. 7 innings out of Logan Gilbert, then you bring Matt Brash in the 8th and Andres Munoz in the 9th inning. Brash, 7 appearances during the postseason, has given up just 1 earned run in 8 total innings pitched. Munoz has not allowed a single run in his 6 appearances, 7 1/3 innings pitched. The bullpen has just been lights out, especially when you get to that back end.
It has, and it gets lost because of everything that happened late in the game, but that strikeout of Matt Brash on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was absolutely critical in Game 5 to get them out of that jam with that pitch that ran in on the inside part of the plate, challenged him with a fastball, got him to swing over it. Really big moment in that game. It helped keep them in a position for Cal and that rally to start happening in the 8th inning.
Well, so as we toss back to you, I know that our Lauren Helmbrecht got a video at the end of the last game of them loading big champagne boxes onto the truck coming here toward Toronto. So hopefully they'll be opening those up and popping those bottles for the 4th time during this season, as they did so after they clinched a playoff spot, then a AL West championship, and then a spot into the ALCS. Hopefully they'll be doing so as they clinch a spot of the World Series, guys.
Yeah, so Aaron, I love what you just said a second ago about keep it simple tonight. Simple and let's win. And before you guys go, quick question. I noticed that Curtis wears that pullover a lot every time the Mariners game happens. So is there a story there behind that? I feel like there's a superstition story there.
No superstition.
No?
I just think it looks pretty good, and it's nothing behind it.
Well, it's funny because I wore this in the first 2 games here in Toronto, so I'm going with it again. No suit. I went suit back in Seattle. They lost those 2 games, so we're just going to go casual, and then hopefully it's a little bit nicer. I mean, the clothes are better to get soaked with.
There's
champagne.
also a very heavy rain jacket upstairs that I got just in case it's needed for a certain something later on.
Brought the goggles also. We are prepared, so fingers crossed.
You both look great regardless, and I'm more like Aaron. I'm superstitious. I bought a box of Lucky Charms and ate all the Lucky Charms out of it. So we'll see what works. Oh, boy. Thanks, guys. We'll get back to you shortly. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and Fox 13's Extra Innings show will continue right after this.
All right, welcome back into Fox 13 Extra Innings. This is a live shot of Rogers Center there. The stadium is going to get filled very soon as the Mariners take on the Blue Jays. This is such a big, big night for us. And this morning, David, I got up. The first thing I thought about was baseball. And I know a lot of people in this town doing the same thing.
I can tell because you were correctly dressed for the big game for tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, we got the right colors on. All right, let's go out to Jennifer Dowling and find out what's going on at the watch party there. She's in, are you in Queen Anne?
I am. I'm in Lower Queen Anne near Climate Pledge at Tom's Watch Bar, and I'm hanging out with a lot of Houston Texan fans, actually, because they had a Houston Texan fans takeover here at the bar. But we're finding that the Mariners fans that are coming down here to watch the 5 o'clock game are making for the Texans.
Let's go Mariners! Let's go Logan! I'm good with the Mariners, but Texans too, though.
So, yes, this is Eddie Joe. He flew in from Houston, and this is Jamie from Queen Anne. So let's talk about why you guys love the Mariners and why you guys are friends today.
Well, the Mariners are in our division, you know, and since we've been beating on them for the last 10 years, we thought we'd finally let them in, you know. So, hey, no, I like the Mariners.
All right, Jamie, why are you making friends with the Texans, and why do you love the Mariners?
I love the Mariners. I've been a lifelong fan. They're an amazing team. They've never been this far. One win away from the World Series. Let's effing go.
I like that. And Eddie Joe's just fun, right? You got to hang out with Eddie Joe. But show me this picture. So you found a lucky rainbow today that you took a picture of in Queen Anne.
Yes.
Let's show that to the camera and tell me about that.
Well, we were walking into Tom's, and we saw this rainbow. We said, hey, that's got to be a good omen. Let's bring it home tonight.
All right. I love that, Jamie. So can I get a go, Ems?
Let's go M's!
I'm good with that. Hey, you're in our division.
And let's go Seahawks.
Our division, hey, so I'm good with it.
All right. So we got, a lot of fans sharing the love here at Tom's Watch Party. And we'll bring you more fan reaction coming up here at 5 o'clock. Back to you.
Yeah, I love the camaraderie out there. Jennifer, thank you so much from Queen Anne. Let's get final thoughts from Lauren Hembrecht and Chris Swanson.
Hannah, David, you were talking about your superstitions. I am also a very superstitious person. So, Chris, I refuse to talk about when things happen. I will talk about if they happen and talk about myself in the present. The Mariners are about to play the Toronto Blue Jays, and if they win, then we talk about what happens next.
I do not tie my shoes on game days.
Oh.
That is, I got a pair of shoes that I keep tied. And if there's a game day, I just slip them on. They're already like pre-tied. So far, it's been working. Not every time, but it's been working more than it hasn't been. So I stuck with it today. I'm not going to take the shoe off and show you on camera. Trust me, it's there. But I'm sticking with it. That's what I got.
Those are our superstitions, and we know that fans across the country feel the same way. We have Etsy witches, shoes on head, etc. The Mariners taking on the Blue Jays, one win away from a trip